What's up guys, Flaming Victini here, and we've got another World Cup game. This time we've got Cosine180 versus Nintendi, and Cosine180 is using a Gardevoir Sand balance, and Nintendi is using some Medicham plus Hydreigon bulky offense. Very interesting teams from both of them. There we see Mega Medicham lead out against the Talonflame. You fake out and flinch it, and then a Lando T-switch into the Brave Bird, dealing with some recoil and some Rocky Helmet. So this Talonflame is already down to 63% health, in a position where it may need to roost. Goes for the Wisp, and Nintendi just goes straight for the rocks. If it went for the Stone Edge right there, that would have been extremely good for him to remove that Talonflame, which is one of the few things that's really checking that Medicham, which is looking like a very massive threat to Cosine. If it has Bullet Punch, it can get past Gardevoir pretty easily, and it just destroys everything on Cosine's team. Nothing can switch into it regardless, and the only things that can revenge it is Excadrill and Sand, Talonflame, and potentially the Gardevoir. And yeah, I mean, or a very, very healthy Rotom that can tank 1 HJK, but it's basically in a very difficult position against this Medicham, and also the thing is, these rocks are going to be very difficult. Oh wow, that did nothing. Burned plus only partially affected, that did absolutely nothing. But yeah, I mean, so he did have Stone Edge, so if I were him, I might have considered going in for on the turn he Wisp. The thing is, like, this Talonflame was going to be heavily pressured throughout the game regardless, because it's just, Cosine's going to be struggling to, spin those hazards away as Lino T sets it up on them. The thing is, now that this Lando T is low, it can probably not be able to switch into a spin plus an Iron Head, or at least with a little bit more chip damage, especially if Nintendi stays in right here to Stone Edge, as Cosine switches out to his Rotom or his Amoonguss. That could put him in a difficult position, so I'm not really the biggest fan of how Nintendi has been handling this Talonflame with this Lando. And I think this Talon is slowly growing to be a bigger threat to Nintendi's team, although it's certainly not the biggest issue. And there's a very nice double switch from Nintendi. I really like that play, because it was so obvious Cosine would switch, and I really like, I agree with the double switch right there. I think that was honestly his only, like, best move to be used in that situation, because he also wants to keep his Lando a little bit healthy, so he can kind of check that Excadrill. This Excadrill is growing out to be a very big problem for Nintendi. I mean, he has the Medicham, and I think he just needs to abuse it to its maximum potential. And the thing is, I don't know if this has Zen Headbutt. A lot of them have been dropping Zen Headbutt in favor of Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Bullet Punch, so many different moves, and just Zen Headbutt has not been finding room to fit itself on these sets. And if it's not Zen Headbutt, this Amoonguss won't get O-code by an Ice Punch, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm not entirely sure, because Medicham is so strong, and Amoonguss is not a Tangrowth, but this Medicham is certainly in a threatening position to Cosine, and he does want to keep that Amoonguss around if he can, because Azumarill could be a big threat to Cosine. The thing is, with Nintendi letting this Lando T get burned and already weakened to below 50, I really think that the combination of Excadrill plus Talonflame is just going to put him in a very difficult position. But I don't know why people are just freaking out, but Medicham literally just kicks high jump kick here, and something just goes down. Like, I'm not really sure what's so amazing about. I mean, he definitely needs to keep his T-Tar, because Excadrill is just such a big threat to Nintendi. It's honestly one of his win cons, I think, alongside the Talonflame. And Nintendi is probably going to be looking to Healing Wish up that Lando T with his Jirachi, to be fairly honest. I definitely can see that happening later on in the game, because that Lando T is really holding him together against the Drill and the Talon, which are just two big threats to him. And the main things that can take on Medicham offensively, the Gardevoir as well, but Medicham has already gotten its Mega Evolution. If Gardevoir doesn't get an opportunity, it's pretty rough. So Cosine switches into a HJK, and oh my god, gets critical hit. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that would have 2KO'd, and if it didn't, he obviously had the Zen Headbutt to take it out, but he actually goes for the Ice Punch, safe play, and I'm not really sure. I mean, I think that's pretty much a sack from Cosine's end. He wanted to get up his Sand, get a little chip on it, and scout for what the Medicham had, and then bring in his Gardevoir actually right here. He definitely needs a little bit more Sand damage. I think he needs like one more turn of Sand for Drill to take it out with an EQ. But that's Adamant Drill. I don't know if his Drill is Jolly or Adamant. So Cosine definitely wants to whittle this medicham down with sand if he can't attack it offensively, so that he's eventually in range of Drill's EQ, and he wants to try to prevent that Jirachi from getting a healing wish on that Lano T, really pressure Nintendi's team with his Excadrill and his Talonflame as much as he can. And obviously this Gardevoir is a big threat as well, because the Gardevoir kind of pushes the Jirachi to come in, and Nintendi has to play his Jirachi carefully. He can't just click Healing Wish the very moment it comes in, because of the Gardevoir itself, and also the fact that it is just not the smartest thing to do. But at the same time, he also wants to make sure that he can get up a Healing Wish, and Cosine makes a very nice play right there by going to his Drill, because he puts Nintendi in a position where he kind of like, he wants to Healing Wish up his Lano T, but he also wants to use his Jirachi a little bit more. He doesn't want to just get completely blown back by the Gardevoir. What I would consider here on Nintendi's end is actually going to Hydreigon. I feel very confident that Cosine would not EQ right here. I feel very confident that he would either Rapid Spin, most likely Rapid Spin, or Iron Head. The thing is, like, going to Lano T, you take the spin, you little chip damage, and you take the burn. And then you're kind of put in a really awkward position where Cosine can Iron Head the Lano T, and if he gets up rocks, you can get up sand later and spin and stuff. So he actually goes to his Azumarill on the Excadrill. The reason I'm saying Hydreigon is because that's not going to get many opportunities to damage Cosine's team, but it can really put in some really heavy damage on Cosine's team, depending on its set. If it's choice specs, it needs to predict correctly. If it's life orb, it has a little more freedom, and it allows him to use his Jirachi a little bit more, although it lets Cosine put more pressure with his Gardevoir to an extent. And the Azumarill puts similar pressure on Cosine's team, but it does let that Rotom come in. And it's really, this is going to turn into an offensively paced game very quickly. He needs to find the right time to Healing Wish up that Lano T, because otherwise I just see him getting run over by Drill plus Talon, unless he plays his Azumarill extremely carefully. He needs to play his Azumarill very carefully to beat both of those, but Cosine is taking his time right here, goes to his Rotom. I'm not really sure what else he would do, and there's a knockoff on the Rotom. I don't really like that play. If anything, I would have double switched to Hydreigon, because the knockoff just doesn't accomplish much, but at the same time you're predicting him to switch out. I just don't like that play so much. I mean, Cosine just clicks Volt. He really has no reason not to. If Nintendi tries to go to his Lano T to pivot, it's an extremely obvious pivot that Cosine can play around, and he gets burn damage on the Lano T. Otherwise, he just gets momentum on anything else, and in this game where it's so offensively paced, you really don't want to give up that momentum. He actually goes for the Wisp. I don't like that play at all. I mean, maybe you're predicting Jirachi or something of the sorts, but like, maybe you're predicting, I don't really understand. Like, Volt Switch just lets you bring in your threats. I mean, it's true that the Gardevoir has not Mega Evolved. I do kind of think that I mean, the double was also good on Excadrill's end, but Cosine does need to get up his Mega Evolution with his Gardevoir. I mean, it also depends on whether the Gardevoir itself is timid or modest, and oh, that Talonflame eats that up. That did absolutely nothing. That has to be like a timid Hydreigon. Good God, that did nothing. Talonflame. Oh my god, oh, I actually didn't put Spadef, but yeah, that's, oh my god. There's no way that's a modest Hydreigon. Timid Life Orb, man. So in comes a Lano T on the Talonflame, and how much does Brave Bird do? We saw this at the beginning. It will do 15, so it won't take out this Lano T. Does this Cosine's Talon have Taunt, though? If he throws out the Taunt right here, Nintendi's going to be put into an awkward position. Definitely. And if it's like Bulk Up Talon, it's just going to be such a big threat. There's the Bulk Up. Oh my god. This is a very dangerous position for Nintendi. Extremely dangerous. I mean, what does he do? This Talon just completely destroys him, and if he just Stone Edged it the first turn, that would have been just so much better. I mean, ABR makes a good point about how the Talonflame probably should have Taunt to help with Heatran, but at the same time, like, Bulk Up wins games. It does, and in this position, it's really put itself into a dangerous, it's really put Nintendi into a dangerous position where Cosine can just Bulk Up again without any fear at all, and I mean, like, pretty sure by the knockoff damage on the Rotom, we can tell that the Azumarill is not choice banded. It's really putting Nintendi in a position where he just has to pressure down this Talonflame with the Hydreigon plus Latios, and I feel that it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to... I mean, it's possible. Definitely a second bulk up coming here unless Cosine was just... He could also just Brave Bird. I think it kills. But I mean, bulking up a second time and then roosting just seems so risk-free, and even just removing the Lino-T and heavily damaging the Azumarill could be enough to put Excadrill into position to win. Then again, there's Fake Out, there's Sacking and dodging Earthquake versus Iron Head and stuff, so he definitely wants to try to win with this Talonflame if he can, right here, right now, and Nintendi is in a difficult position. He does go straight to his Latios, and there's the Brave Bird. Does not do over half. It's gonna put this into a little tricky situation. I mean, Draco does not do that much Talon. It barely does more than Life Orb Hydreigon's Draco, and it's partly why I feel like Hydreigon should be running Modest. Main reason to use Hydreigon over Latios is the fact that you have the Dark typing, you can't get Pursuit Trapped, and you have a little more coverage options. But there's the Surf on the Latios. I don't know if Hydreigon actually learns Surf. Learn Hydreigon Surf. Yeah, it can learn Surf, you just don't use it. I was just kind of curious to see whether Hydreigon learns Surf or not, but yeah, Surf is going to be great for Nintendi right here. It means he doesn't have to click that Draco button, which would not have killed the Talonflame, and let it just heal up. And yeah, Surf is just going to be the saving grace for Nintendi right here. It's going to put Cosine into a position where he has to Brave Bird to take out this Latios. He can't Roost All it, and that's going to mean that the Hydreigon can come in, tank a +1 Brave Bird, and click that Draco button. I'm fairly sure it would do enough to kill. I mean, Latios, it's gonna take like, yeah, it's gonna be at like 25% health, 75. Hydreigon versus Talon. Oh my god. Cosine could win right here, right now on this roll. That is ridiculous. So instead Nintendi goes to his Azumarill. I mean, this works because Cosine can't really Roost. I mean, if the Cosine's Talon was healthy, it could burn this, and then Azumarill would not be able to beat Talon. So by doing this, Nintendi's putting Cosine... Yeah, I mean, this is better than going Hydreigon. I thought, run Modest Hydreigon, please. I mean, Timid Hydreigon has some benefits, but like Modest, so much stronger. It's stronger than Latios. Look, 125 special attack. Latios is 130. Hydreigon is literally weaker than Latios if you're running Life Orb and Timid. So, I mean, obviously there's typing differences, move slot differences. Cosine saves his Talon, goes to his Rotom on the waterfall. Nicely done, because I think he's definitely going to get opportunities to spin later in the game. And, ABR says, did Talon eat the waterfall? So let's find out. And I'm just reading the Smog Tourist chat, because it's interesting, but, Azumarill... Yeah, that's definitely not eating it up, but, in comes the Hydreigon on a Voltage. Yeah, this is where he needs to do some work. And in comes the T-Tar. And does Hydreigon click that Draco Meteor button right here? Cosine can definitely try to do some pivoting if he wants to. It could also be Flash Cannon Hydreigon, though. I don't know. Nintendi could even just go to his Medicham. Yeah, he does go to his Medicham. The reason I like this play is because he maintains his Hydreigon as a sack. Otherwise, Hydreigon takes out the T-Tar. It would have been probably a double down, because I doubt the Draco Meteor would Oko T-Tar with some bulk and the sand from 76 with a Draco, especially if it's Timid Life Orb. And in comes the Medicham, grabs a kill with HJK, and it puts pressure on Cosine's team, and it also allows him to maintain Hydreigon as a sack. Now, this Excadrill is really looking out to be a threat. I mean, Cosine definitely needs to save this T-Tar. The thing is, the Azumarill is slowly growing to also be a big threat to Cosine's team, as he does sack the Rotom, not the Gardevoir. Oh my goodness! You have to be kidding me! Oh my god! Oh my goodness! That is ridiculous! Oh my god! That is actually so dumb! That is actually so dumb! Oh my god! Cosine, you win, Cosine, shut up. I mean, You have to be dumb to lose to Azumarill. I mean, actually, Azumarill can win at this point. That is so fucking dumb. Oh my god, how much health is the Rotom at? Okay, I mean, it's gonna be below 10. It's gonna be at like 9. Azumarill, let me see, versus Rotom. Yeah, Aqua Jet could take it out. So Rotom is still in a position where it can win. It still is. I mean, technically, Excadrill can tank an Aqua Jet. T-Tar might be able to outspeed, but it probably won't. I mean, it's AV Azumarill, so it could. The Talonflame can Brave Bird it, the Gardevoir can tank one and hit it hard, although probably not Oko since it's AV, most likely AV Azumarill. It could also be BD Azu, and the Rotom most likely dies to the Aqua Jet, but I mean, that is still so fucking dumb. I mean, that is actually extremely... That's so sad. He missed HJK, took a solid 56.25% because of it instead of taking 6.25. Then he missed that Zen Headbutt. At least if he hit the Zen Headbutt, he would have gotten the kill on the Rotom and forced the momentum in his favor. But yeah, in comes the Lando T. He's not going to be able to Healing Wish this thing up. I mean... Yeah, this puts Nintendi in a really difficult position. What does he do right here? I mean, Cosine is not going to spin. I mean, he could. Honestly, if I were him, I would... No, I mean, there's no difference between spinning and iron heading if Lando T just goes for the rocks. And yeah, it does go for the rocks, so Cosine actually has the SD. This man is unstoppable. I was going to say that, like, maybe Nintendi can go to his Hydreigon. I was going to say maybe Nintendi can go to his Jirachi right here, and then Healing Wish up the Lando T. If Cosine SD'd, he would most likely SD again, and that would put Nintendi into a position where he'd either let the drill be +2, or he could, and with the Lando T in, or he would Iron Head the Excadrill, and then try to like flint, like get it in range of Aqua Jet, then sack Lando T, go to Azu and Aqua Jet it. I honestly don't like rocking right there, because it really puts him in a horrible position at this point. I mean, Cosine spinning was pretty much only for the purpose of if Nintendi switches, and otherwise Cosine had no reason to spin. He could just use anything else. If he had Rock Slide, he'd use Rock Slide. If he had SD, he'd use SD. I mean, and what are the chances that the drill doesn't have either of those? Like, literally, what could the drill be running? It definitely has Earthquake, it has Iron Head, it has Rapid Spin. What is his last move? It could be SD, it could be Rock Slide, it could be Toxic, it could even be Frustration, and in that case, Spin would make the most sense for Cosine right there. But if it's any of the most likely options, SD, Rock Slide, Spin, that's what he's going to go for. And I feel like Jirachi is just the best play in that situation where you can go Jirachi. Sand ends, you can Healing Wish up the Lando T, you stop Spin, you get in Lando T at full percent health. If the drill SDs, you get Iron Head. And let's just see right here. I mean, the chances of him EQing and breaking through flinch is extremely low. First of all, because Healing Wish is so obvious, he'd most likely, knowing Cosine especially, he'd most likely SD. And again, so he can actually damage that Lando T and put Talon in a potential position to win if he could. I mean, he can spam rocks, obviously, and then Aqua Jet the Excadrill would be hard. But, yeah, the Iron Head does like 26 to 25, and Azumarill Aqua Jet is doing 66 to 78, and with a bit of chip, I mean, he needs like 20% damage to put it in range of Aqua Jet, so he could have just done that. But in comes, oh, there's a nice play by Roosting right there, predicting the T-Tar. Gives himself a little more of a chance, but yeah, oh my god, that ate it up. You have to go for a Draco crit or something, like... Ugh, this game is so shit. It is actually so bad, because now this drill isn't even in range of Aqua Jet. This drill literally is not even in range of Aqua Jet, and it can just do whatever the heck it wants. This T-Tar gets... I mean, he probably sacks his Talonflame, to be completely honest. He doesn't... Or even he can sack his Rotom, too. He can keep his Talonflame for the odd chance that he wants to just get a spin-off later on in the game. And the Rotom is absolutely useless at this point, so he does actually sack the Talonflame. Sorry about that, guys, I'm back, and in comes the Gardevoir after the Talon sack on the Azumarill. Nintendi's in a tough position. I mean, I don't really know what he would do right here. I mean, he's kind of forced. I mean, depending on the set, I mean, it does partially depend on the set, but I think he's kind of forced to go to Jirachi, because even if he lives, this Hyper Voice takes out the Gardevoir. In comes the Excadrill. It tanks a hit and just EQs. Unless it gets crit, it EQs. It kills either the Azu or the Jirachi. And if it kills the Jirachi, then it just beats the Azu. And if it kills the Azu, then the Jirachi comes in, Cosine sacks T-Tar, and then wins with the Drill. Unless Jirachi can tank an EQ. But yeah, there's the Hyper Voice. Takes out the Jirachi, and this is the game. I mean, I don't know if that Hyper Voice crit mattered in killing the Azu. We don't know whether it's AV. It wouldn't be BD, otherwise he would have gone for it, and it could have been Lum or something like that. Ironhead takes the Gardevoir, but in comes the T-Tar right here. And yeah, in comes the T-Tar, and this Jirachi just gonna go down to Sandrill. So yeah, this is gonna be the game. Misses just... This is ridiculous. I mean, Nintendi also would have won against NJNP in OST Finals. Gets a crit to boot. I mean, honestly, it didn't matter, but just rubbing it in his face. And that medicham play was just so bad, because it forfeited the momentum for Nintendi. It also forfeited his kill on the Rotom, which would have been like... Basically, imagine the Rotom was dead and Nintendi still had his medicham. That could have put him into a position where he could still win by utilizing Sack's momentum. Getting a Medi one last time even would change the game. And man, Medicham missing is just the worst, because you know that when you missed, you would have killed the other person's Mon most likely, but instead you killed yourself, and that's just horrible. 50% recoil on top of a 10% chance to miss is just so annoying. It's basically getting frozen by an ice fan. It's so bad. But Cosine's able to pull the game through. Drill and Talon putting the pressure on Nintendi's team, and that Gardevoir also did some damage, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.